Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about misconceptions in music. So the main focus of my channel is to teach you the basics for how to record things into a computer, and also to edit some video for YouTube because you're going to need to promote it visually somehow. Trust me, that's super important. You can't ignore it anymore. And social media, because you got to promote it somewhere. So that's what I do, and that's why I do it, because I didn't see enough of this out there. Okay, so back in the day, we're talking late 80s, early 90s, we had a place called 930 Gilman Street, and it was a punk rock club. It used to be an old canning factory, and what was great about that club was its location in Berkeley, off of University. It's way down there by the freeway. It's still there too, by the way. What was great about it is in 10 to 15 blocks in every direction, you had paint supply places and industrial, storage places and whatnot. You had all these industrial areas, and you had this little punk rock club in the middle of that could make as much noise as possible because it didn't matter. You weren't going to disturb anybody living anywhere within 10 to 15 blocks of each direction. So that's why it was cool. But that's not the main reason why Gilman Street was awesome. Gilman Street was kind of one of my first kind of community experiences, because it went like this. You had the punk rock club in the back where the canning factory used to be. And then up front, you had the reception area, or the front desk area. And in the front desk area, you would have people that wrote magazines, writers, and you would have artists, and then you would have the musicians that played in the band. And those people, and here's how conversations went a lot of the time. Hey, I really like your band. I'm going to write an article about you in my next zine next month. Cool. Okay. Hey, I'm an artist and I draw. I can draw the album cover for your next record. And so you had this community of people that were working towards making and releasing music, that were doing all this stuff without major label support. That's key, without any of that stuff. And it was happening because there was a community of people that were all kind of moving in the same direction. And that was really, really awesome. And this, by the way, this is before the internet. So this is like 88 to 91, before we had commercial internet. So you didn't have things like, you didn't have social media, and you didn't have even like a website to promote. You had to do all this stuff the hard way and print things, and everything was physical. So that was part of the deal too. Hey, so let's talk about the attitude we had in 1988 when we started the band. My band was called Pisco, and we did industrial synth pop. Let's just put it that way. That's the nearest comparison you could just slap on it. Anyways, we had this idea that all we had to do was be great, and the world would beat a path to our door. They would people would just sign us, and then we were on our way. Well, that's not actually the way it works. That's not the way it worked then, and it's definitely not the way it works now. So promotion has changed a ton from 1987 to 2026. Everything is social media now. Everything is all about, how are you going to blow up on all these social medias, and how are you going to get attention, versus back then, it was like, get yourself signed to an independent record label, and then they would take care of all that stuff for you. They would promote you. All you had to do is go tour, get on the road, get on some kind of other tour, play somewhere. That's the way it was back in the 60s, too, when the Beatles first started and, all these other bands started. It was like that, too. It was like tour was the promotion part of what you did. To get your name out there, get your face out there, Now it's all about make a YouTube video, or make a video in general and put it on YouTube, or how you gonna, it's all about social media now. So that's the main thing that's changed. And that's kind of what I teach with my channel too. I teach part of that. That's part of what I do, what I go through. And I'm going to do more of that in the future. All right. So back at Gilman Street in the late 80s, early 90s, we used to do shows there. And we did shows on, I think, Wednesday nights because that was the industrial night. There was another band that was kind of blowing up, but they weren't the band to beat in the Bay Area as far as the punk rock scene goes. And that band was Green Day. And Green Day made it. They signed to Warner Reprise in 1991, the year that my band broke up. And then they toured. They did the Vans Warped Tour, and then that launched them into wherever they are now. They're pretty big. But here's the thing. They used to worry about that. They worried about making sure that they got enough people to their shows, and they were like, and they sold enough merch and all that stuff. They really worried about that. Even early on, we did a show with them at this place called The Playground, and we were on really early, and we never thought about how we were going to promote ourselves. Because once again, be brilliant, and the world will be a path to your door. That's what we thought. That's absolutely wrong. And we never promoted ourselves enough, and then wondered why no one showed up for our shows because nobody knew about it. Whereas Green Day was on that stuff. They quit their day jobs. They went after it, and then they got signed and they got bigger. So because that was important to them, and that's who they are, and I'm where I'm at. Because of all these things, like where I was then and where I am now, my goals have changed. My goals when I was a 22-year-old was I was going to be a rock star. I was going to get signed with a label. They were going to take care of everything, and we were just going to go tour, and everything was going to get taken up. And we had a model for that. The model was the band New Order and the band Depeche Mode, because they were doing it. And we're like, oh, we can do that. Why can't we do that? That was the thinking. Well, we didn't handle promotion right, and there's a bunch of things we didn't. We needed a manager that pushed us a little bit, and we didn't have that. Whereas, now my goal as a over 50-year-old is I really want to write a song for somebody else to take and run with and make big. That's way more important to me than being a rock star, because I really don't want to tour. No. It sounds like it just sounds like it. You know what it sounds like? Touring right now sounds like it's all about the fact that it's less, it makes music and making music less fun. Now, I'm sure there's ways around this, and I'm sure if you're touring as a touring musician, that's different. But at the end of the day, I don't think I'd be having as much fun with music if I was touring and really grinding it out. So that's where I'm at now. All right, so you're going to learn. You don't have to worry about this stuff. All you got to do is keep going. I'll see you next time.